Hi guys, welcome.
Hey Jen.
Hey.
And it looks like we got a Reverend Jews revival here.
Man, you can see my dirty dishes.
Hey, man. Hello?
Like prep the room better.
Hello? What is going on? Can you see me? Your name is Joe. Can you see me?
Yes. Well, no, wait. Who's talking?
My name is Josh. I've never done this before. I don't know what's going on, why you wouldn't go to see me, but I'm here.
I think there's two Joshes, and I think
Yep, I'm a Josh.
one of you is visible, one of you is invisible.
There's a little video link in the lower left-hand corner you have to click in order to turn on the video.
Hello?
Hi. Well, we should.
Hello?
Hey, Jen, I'm here. I don't know why my video thing isn't working, but I can see everybody. So.
You guys on the computer here? We're probably gonna mute you guys.
Well, no, if you guys could do us a favor and mute yourselves on your end,
Yes.
that would be great, because you can unmute if you have a question.
Okay.
But we pick up anytime a pigeon farts in your general zip code with that. So we'd appreciate that. Okay.
All right.
But definitely let us know if you have questions. All right. Hi, you guys. Hooray! Woo!
Good to see everybody.
And then we have some out-of-towners on the computer here. So.
And we are actually recording this meeting that we will have the recording available after the fact. So when we tell you we told you, we can go to the videotape. All right. Also, just a general note real quick, if anybody goes in to use the bathroom, please make sure that the handle is jiggled, because we found that it's a little broken right now. Jiggle the handle, but just don't let the toilet keep running, because that runs up the water bill and then our landlord gets really mad. Thank you.
So anyway, hi. I know we have some people that need to leave a little bit early. That's okay. We're going to try and get through things as fast as possible. So we do have a spot for Q&A at the end. So
Hey, we're going to fix that.
so far away.
Yeah.
And all of you guys are all here at Studio Stage. So some of these guys on the computer are at the Hobgoblin. So if you guys have any Hobgoblin specific questions, again, hold on. We will definitely answer them. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, hello. So you guys know me and Greg, hopefully, Jen, Greg. And then this is Erin. She's our production manager. She's also going to be one of the main stage managers in this space. So if you are in this space, you probably are going to be working with Erin. If you are not working with Erin, you're going to be working with Brett, right? Yeah, her husband, Brett. So close enough. He could not be here today. Unfortunately, he had to go to a funeral. So we give him a pass. But you will meet him if he's your SM. And then we've got other SMs who are going to be over at the Hobgoblin. So that's who is listed here. Okay, so we'll just jump right in. So in terms of the space itself, so now right now, the space looks a little bit different than it will for Fringe, because this is showing here right now. Hello. For Fringe, we are going to have the curtains up on either side, the way you guys all saw when you took a tour. And that's just going to be standard for everyone. So you will have little backstage wings that you'll be able to go to. The show that is in here currently put up that lovely curtain over there, which I'm going to keep. because it solves all my problems. So yay! So we're keeping that. And then the other thing is that, of course, in this venue, you don't have a back cross. So while you're rehearsing, keep that in mind. One thing that I am toying with, leaning towards, is scooting all these chairs over just about 1.5 feet so that you have a back cross. And then
yeah, we kind of have to do that because I'm already blocking back.
Okay, so we're doing that for Greg.
You're welcome.
There you go. If you're over there, that's okay. This curtain is going to be scooted over a little bit so people will be able to still see. It's fine. We're also going to be keeping those seats available for latecomers because you always have latecomers at Fringe and you don't want them walking across your stage. So they get the cheap seats. But that's something to keep in mind. You are able to do a back cross around if you want someone to exit here and come back over there. And the wall is coming back. Yes, so there is a wall that goes between that pole and that new curtain there. That's just in the dock right now. They're going to put it up when they leave this show here. So you'll have some good masking. So there's that. All right, moving right along. So house management and crowd control is the next on the agenda. So a couple things that we have learned from last year. In both spaces, actually. In both spaces, there is very little soundproofing between the house and the lobby. In fact, at the Hobgoblin, there's hardly any. So that's actually a good and bad thing. It's a good thing because all your holdout lines are going to be outside. That's a really good thing because people walk by and go, "What's going on? Is this a fancy club? I want to come in," you know? And then you're like, "No, it's Fringe. You should still come." That's going to be really helpful on Hollywood Boulevard for you guys because there's like 10,000 people walking by. So everyone's going to want to know what's going on. But because in both spaces, the door goes like right into the stage, it's very, very important to have a house manager. So some venues will say you are required to pay them for a house manager. And then that person will, you know, do your box office and help out in terms of like loading in and loading out. We don't do that because some people want the option to not have to pay for that. So last year we just said, bring a friend, handle your own box office, which was kind of okay. But we had a lot of friends who would handle the box office and go, "But I want to see the show." And then that would leave no one out in the lobby. And sometimes there'd be noise and issues. And
you'll get frequently late seating. We occasionally get people that think this is a furniture store who come in and just start walking in going, "Hey, what's going on over here?" You know, so we do get some looky-loos, and we're going to have that issue a lot more with the Hobgoblin than here because there's a lot more street traffic. You also have a lot more transients up there, stuff like that. But we still get a healthy amount of that here. So you know, having a house manager who can sit out in the lobby during your show will prevent a lot of disruption.
Super helpful. Now, we have options for that for you though. So if you are like, "Great, I have a friend or I have multiple friends who would happily do that for me," cool. Have them do that for you for free. If you don't, and you're like, "I can't think of anyone who could possibly do that," let us know because we do have some people that we can hire for you, and they would just be $20 a show. So.
Or Eric will do it for you.
Or Eric will do it for you, apparently.
Yeah.
Talk to Eric. But let us know that though. Like we can either talk today or you can email me and just say like, "Yeah, I definitely want to hire a house manager." Let me know that, and then I can hook you up with that. But I want to give you the option so that you're not locked into you have to pay someone.
Question
Yes.
from is there a deadline on when you need to know that by?
I would say sooner rather than later. Let's say by May 1st. If we can know by May 1st, that would be great because I gotta find people to do that.
Yeah, because we're not going to have somebody that's available on call. So
it would be specific to your show.
You got to give us enough time to make sure that we have people lined up for you, but we will have people lined up for you if you let us know with enough time.
Yeah, and what kind of happened last year, because we both wanted to kind of keep things happening, so Greg and I, and sometimes Erin, we all ended up sort of like just sitting in the lobby. So we would like to be able to leave the building once in a while, so that's fine.
Because Jenn and I are both encore judges, and we're also, you know, producers ourselves. And there's reasons why we need to be, you know, moving about. And so we need to be mobile. Whereas, you know, if we can have a house manager, if you guys can provide a house manager, or we can provide one for you for a fee, then that gets taken care of. and then you guys
I have a question.
your show's a more better experience.
Hi.
Hey, Marcus.
As far as the payment of the $20, do we pay them in advance, or can we pay them, say, like with our ticket sales or whatever?
We haven't really worked that out yet. You could probably pay them by show, as long as it's like at the top of the show, and it's not something that's forgotten in the craziness of loading out.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't want to stiff anyone.
Yeah, that's
By
okay.
accident.
But you could probably, I mean, we're not going to require payment in advance. You could actually probably just pay the person directly right at the top of your show. And if you need to pay it right from box office, that's fine. You know?
Okay.
Yeah. We're not encouraging paying under the table, but that's, you know, a healthy way to go.
That's how Fringe kind of works.
Nobody wants to deal with a 1099 on this, right?
Not for 20 bucks. No.
Yeah.
Where audiences should wait, we already kind of talked about that. Most audiences will wait outside. So I've had a lot of questions about concessions. Should we do concessions? You are welcome to in both spaces. However, just keep in mind that your audience is in the space for an extremely small amount of time. They're probably gonna be waiting outside, and then as one audience goes out, we let the other audience in. So it's like really fast. So in our experience with Theater Unleashed, we've tried to do concessions at Fringe, and we generally end up losing money because we buy the concessions and no one gets them.
And also you have, we'll talk about load in and load out, but you have 15 minutes to load in and 15 minutes to load out. That's also concessions. So you cannot load in your concessions before your 15 minutes starts. By the end of your 15-minute load out, your concessions have to be out on the sidewalk. Yeah. So plan for that.
So some people do it. We had a show last year that like gave out free Jell-O shots. It was easy because it was free, so they could just, you know. So it's just not a big money maker, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So just that's up to you guys.
And of course, you know, alcohol sales are not allowed without a permit if you're going to bring alcohol onto the premises. We are going to assume that you have all the proper paperwork, okay?
We're not gonna ask.
I wasn't one. That wasn't.
That was implied.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I'm so glad we're recording this now. Yeah, that's hitting the cutting room floor. Okay, so. Would free booze allow that? Yes, it would. Just realize that what the liability is that you're taking.
Questions?
Sorry, I couldn't hear the question from the audience. Could you repeat that?
Because is free booze okay? And free booze is fine just as long as you understand and comprehend the liability that you're taking on by offering alcohol to an audience. Because that's something that you are doing at your own risk. Okay?
Well, also,
somebody gets hammered and gets into a car accident, that's on y'all. You know, and that's a realistic thing to keep aware of. Josh?
Are concessions allowed in the theater space at all, or is it only in the lobby?
We do allow people to bring food and drink in, but any messes you got to clean up as part of your 15.
So, but like if you sold like canned drinks, they could bring them in?
Yes, they could. Yeah.
Okay.
We're fine with that as long as you guys keep the space clean for the next show.
Yeah. And is it, Greg, is it pretty easy to get a permit in Los Angeles for a short run, these kind of things?
If you have a nonprofit, it's surprisingly easy to do that. The one thing you would need to do is get the building owner to sign off on that, and we could actually put you in touch with the building owner in order to do that if you'd like to do that. Okay.
Which is also the city, right?
It's
Hobgoblin, yes. Actually, that's right. You're at the Hobgoblin. The Hobgoblin's a whole different can of worms because explicitly, according to our permit, we are not allowed to have alcohol dispensed, not even sold, dispensed on the premises without having our permit pulled. That being said, I actually have also found language in the permit that says anything that you can get a permit for, as long as you get the proper paperwork, is perfectly allowed. So that actually creates a bit of cognitive dissonance within the
We don't dispense it, and if it's BYOB, like there's some, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
like Amsterdam, basically. Yeah.
Kind of. Let me put it this way. I actually called out LADOT on this, and they said, yeah, holy shit, we didn't think about that either. So we're getting a determination from the city attorney's office. So I'm waiting to hear from it.
So basically no one knows. But
yeah, no one knows yet, but hopefully I will hear from the city attorney's office at one point soon.
Great.
We might not hear till after the permit's up. Who knows?
Well,
so we'll talk.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, moving on, you guys, just to keep things going. So where audiences should wait. So we talked about audiences are going to be waiting outside in both venues. So like I said, that's really good for you guys to build some buzz. Hi, come on in. And here, get an agenda. So go right into the poll. So just know that your box office person should be checking people in outside. Because again, the changeover is very, very fast. So if you know you're gonna have a sold out show or you're gonna have a very full show, make sure, line everyone up out there. I'm gonna have a sign outside that'll say, will call line starts here. They're gonna know where to go. Fringe audiences are pretty good about that as well. They know I gotta line up outside. But just go through and check people in, give them your program, whatnot, then you're just like totally ready to go. All right, moving your audiences into the space. Do you wanna talk about that a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what we want to.
So once we're ready to bring the audience in, and that's something that you and I will talk about and decide when you're ready to bring it in, because remember, we have to start 15 minutes after you actually have access to the space. So that means that you have to figure out how long it's going to take you guys to get set up, how long your actors need, but we also need time for the audience to get in and use the bathroom, because they have one bathroom.
In both spaces, the bathroom is inside the house. So something to keep in mind.
The bathroom at the Hobgoblin's backstage.
So typically what I recommend is about 7 minutes. So you guys have the space by yourself for 7 minutes, and then we let in the masses for 7 minutes. And then we start at 7 minutes. Yes, that's 14 total, but it'll work out to be 15 or 16. So
Could you repeat that again? Could you repeat that, what she just said about the hat breaking up to 15 minutes?
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to come over here so I can talk. Hi, guys.
Okay.
Yes, I'm going to repeat once more. So 15 minutes is our load-in. So what I typically recommend is that you get 7 minutes in the space by yourself with your cast to get set up. And then at the 7-minute mark, we let the audience in. They have access to the bathroom, and then we start. So
Gotcha.
7 minutes, and then we've got a show. So that's usually the plan. So again, I will come out, or your stage manager, or Jenn, or Greg if he's here, although I think he's mostly going to be at the Hobgoblin, but someone,
I'm gonna be here.
someone from this venue, not a cast member, not you guys, it's going to be one of us, will come out and say, the house is now open. You can come in. No one comes in before we say that. So don't tell your casts to be helpful and say, oh, we're ready. I'm going to let people in. Don't do that. Because we might not.
We
might not be ready. So we will go out. We'll say the house is open. They'll come in, and we'll point them to the bathroom. You can still be, we've had shows where they're still setting up on stage. We've had shows where just tell them to walk across with purpose if you don't want it to be a scene.
And that's the thing with Fringe, you guys. Like everyone, if you've done Fringe before, you know this, but if you're new to Fringe, Fringe is casual. Like everyone knows. Everyone knows this is not the Pantages. Everyone knows that you have 15 minutes. So like, it's cool. Like if you're setting up and people are going to the restroom, like, all right, no problem. It's fine.
And we will start at that 15-minute mark. So even if there's a line for the restroom, we're starting the show. Because the other side of it, if you're not done on time, I'm gonna have to pull up the lights on you. We don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that.
Yeah. We will talk about that.
We'll talk about that. So that's the load in. Do you want me to go ahead and do moving out too?
Yes.
All right. So your show ends. You've taken bows. They loved your show. Your actors clear the stage. And then what will happen is either myself or Jenn or Brett, we will come out on stage and we will say, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming to Fringe. We need you to make your way out to the sidewalk where you can greet the cast in 15 minutes.
We'll even do the Disney one.
We will.
Get out.
So we will be pushing them out. You will hear that announcement after every single show.
And most shows will have, we have a venue recorded announcement, but if you want to make your own announcement, I will be sending out verbiage for that. But it does need to say things like where the exits are, go see other stuff at Fringe, and also please meet your friends outside or at Fringe Central immediately following the show.
And so
please make sure that when you record your own announcement, that you stick with the verbiage, especially when it comes to fire exits and stuff like that, that's actually legally required.
Yeah, I'll send it.
That's not stuff.
We'll play it at tech and we'll make adjustments as we need to at that point.
For sure.
So don't be alarmed when one of us does yell politely at your audience to get out. We'll do it with a smile, I promise. And then just make sure to tell your cast, your crew, no going to visit mom and dad and best friend who came from 5,000 miles away until you are loaded out the back. At that point, they can go around and they can hug some kisses and drinks and everything. But no one go and visit anybody until we're all loaded out because it's 15 minutes. Okay? All right.
Cool. Any questions? Good?
I have a question.
Yes. Oh, real quick, and then we'll. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Can't hardly see the audience. I don't know if anyone's raising their hand before me or not.
All right.
Will we have time to do the, please turn your cell phones off, enjoy the show? Will we have time to say something like that?
That can be all in your. It'll be in the announcement, the recorded announcement. The question, if you guys didn't hear, was do you have time to say like please turn off your cell phones and things like that? That'll all be in the recorded announcement. So it'll just be part of the show, so you'll be good to go.
Or if you have another meeting, we've had people who are part of the character. The first character comes up on stage and does a bit about it. So however you want to do it, we can do it. So just, we'll put it either in your pre-show or you incorporate it as part of your show.
Okay.
Oh, for like your actors and stuff?
Actors and like any stuff that we would bring in through props.
It's all gonna come in and out through the back.
So the question, I'm gonna repeat the question for you guys. So she asked, what's the flow? For cast and crew, it's load in and load out in the back. Audience is always in and out through the front.
Okay.
All right, I know we've got a question on here. We've got one more in the house and then we'll go back to Zoom.
Yeah.
Like, say my show is about 45 minutes, I have an hour time slot tonight, later, and have a lecture on the end, or right after my photo back.
Okay, let me repeat that so that they hear it.
That's a
So
good question.
the question is, if my show is shorter, we've got an hour time slot, but I know I only run 45 minutes. Do I have leeway to start late or end early? Do I get to decide how that works? So yes, the answer to that is yes. However, here are a few fringe rules. Come on in. Come on in, there's seats. So general rule of Fringe is we start on time at Fringe because everybody plans their schedule. And there are days in the past where Greg and I have shotgun 10 shows in a row. And nothing makes me angrier than being in a show that starts late. Because even if I think it's gonna end early.
We rage tweet about it.
Yes. So even if you know, oh, my show's only 45 minutes, so I can start at 8:15 instead of 8, I guarantee you I'm sitting in the audience going, oh my God, I hate these people already, right? So the solution to that is talk with Jenn and we can adjust your time on the Fringe site. So if you're scheduled for an 8 o'clock start time, but you want a 30-minute setup because you're booked 8 to 9, but you want to start at 8:15 and be done at 9 and you're load up at 9:15, work with Jenn and she can help you adjust your start time.
And if you want me to do that and have it be in the printed guide, I need to do it by tomorrow. So let me know today. The other thing is too, is that like last year when we did the Spidey project, we had it listed at 90 minutes, but it was only 70. So that one was very sold out and we had a wait list and blah, blah, blah. So we had trouble getting the audience in on time. So I would run up and go, hey guys, we're gonna hold for 5 minutes. And I know that's a travesty at Fringe, but we're only 70 minutes and you thought we were 90. And everyone was like, woo. So like, you can do that too. Like if you wanna just keep it at 60, that's good.
Yeah.
So, and I would say like, if that's the case and you know that you're gonna start late, then make an announcement or I can make an announcement and everyone will be totally cool with it. As long as they know they're gonna get out on time to get to their next show.
Yeah.
But don't surprise them with that because they'll get angry.
Don't wait until you're taking your vows for them to find out that they're getting out 10 minutes early.
Yeah.
Especially if you start.
Yeah. They'll spend the whole show being like, I'm gonna be late.
Yeah.
So
They'll be
you're
ready
good.
to walk out.
Oh,
All right,
question on
we've got, yes, go ahead.
Hey, so this is a 3-part question, which I'm sure you're gonna love. Okay, the first is, we are last thing every night. like the last thing every night? So does that, all of what you just said, still apply about rigid start times?
You still want to try and start on time, just because
Yeah.
people may be going to a late show. There are some
Okay.
people start at 1 a.m.
Got it.
So be
Okay. Second thing, the pre-show announcements you said are recorded. Do we need to provide you with a recording or a script, or is that something just that you have like as a standardized thing?
Yeah, you can either do it live if you want, if it's part of your show. The
We've always done it live, so.
Show announcement, do they need to provide a recording? You can either do it live for your show, or we will have a venue announcement that's standard, and you can just use that. Or if you have one that you want to record, like for Spidey Project, we had like the characters doing the announcement. We just provided that. So it's up to you.
Okay, cool. And the third and hopefully final part of this is they have the 15-minute teardown, and then we have 15 minutes to set up before it starts, right? Yes. Can we begin our setup in the backstage area during their 15-minute teardown? So
No.
It's like a no? Okay.
No, the show before, so the question was, can we start our load in or our preset?
No. Like our thing is we use a puppet house, and would be to me, in my mind, the most efficient means of time is if we built that once the previous show ends, we built the house in the backstage while they're tearing down, and then moved it out.
They can store it there.
Right. I would say for the Hobgoblin, there are a couple options. One, you're probably going to be storing it there, but we still need a path of traffic. So that show has to get out. So,
so
honestly,
can't block the roadway. Got it.
Let them get out, and then you can get in. The other thing would be, if you're not storing it in the Hobgoblin, you can build it in the parking lot outside, and then it's through the door.
I would recommend though, because I know you and I talked about this. Same thing. Have big set pieces, they can be stored generally. So that's going to help your load a lot. And yeah, like you can store it there. We can even maybe store it upstairs, totally built. So there's a lot of different options that we'll have.
Make it down the stairs.
Yeah. Well,
there's no stairway.
That's one thing. Lost. You and I will talk about that when you get here.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll sort that out. Any other questions about that before we? Good. Okay.
All right. We're gonna move on to tech info. Trey.
Now I'm back in the hot seat. All right, I get the microphone now. Cool. So hi guys, I'm Greg. I built our grid and I built our sound system here. So I can tell you it's state-of-the-art crap straight from Goodwill. No, I'm kidding. Mostly. So we have, it really is good actually, because we've invested several $1,000s in the light grid in the past year. So if you were here last year for Fringe, or if, like Marcus, if you had a show here last yeire, the grid has actually been upgraded substantially since then. So we have new LEDs, which some of our friends here, Flat Tire, got to use recently and used them to great effect. We have brand new LED lights in the ceiling for side and top lighting, which is fantastic. It gives you a lot of options for dynamic looks. It's really, really great stuff. Takes a little bit longer to program though than the old school incandescents, because the incandescents, it used to be you set your level and then you record the cue. Now you got to set the level, pick the color, make sure that's all right, it's all blending and everything, and then record it. But you have that as an option for your top and side lighting. Your front lighting is still incandescent, and you will have warm and cool wash. And then you will also have two spotlights that are adjustable. They're more than likely they're going to be hard focused onto the corners. Normally crisscross onto the corners here, because these are typically highlight spots. So if you want to have some of your actors riding the poles at certain points, they will they'll have them hard focused there. But you can move them, adjust them, but you have to be able to make sure you adjust them back at the end of your show, for the love of God. Because there's nothing worse than, you know, expecting a cue to come up and have your highlight here and having it hit dead center instead, and your actor's in darkness and something else you don't want to see, you don't want seen is going up. So be conscientious of that. Those are the only two instruments that people will be allowed to move or touch. The rest of the time, this is going to be a rep plot that everybody's going to be using. So please be mindful of that. The system that we're running on is what's called an ETC Nomad. It exists on a computer. It's not an actual traditional slider board. It lives on a computer. It's really great, really wonderful, really flexible system. The software is free to download.
And this is all the same for the Hobgoblin.
And this
as
is
well.
the same for the Hobgoblin as well. The Hobgoblin, we got a second nomad for the Hobgoblin, which is fantastic. The system, the software is free to download. So you can actually have your designer download the software and actually download our lighting patch file from off of our website, because I've uploaded it up there. They can download it and start doing their design work if they want, using our magic sheets and patches, and actually come in with cues pre-written if they know what they're doing. That actually will speed up that will speed up tech considerably. Okay, if you guys come in with a lighting patch file that's ready to go and you load it up and it works, that's going to speed up your tech so much. If you don't have somebody that knows what they're doing, I'm available to write your cue sheet and do your design stuff for lights. I'm available for the very affordable rate of only $25 an hour. When you have someone like, we have many wonderful lighting designer friends, but they typically charge $300 to $500 a show as a flat rate. So I'm like, you know, I'm a good designer. I take a lot of pride in that. That's actually half my college degree. You know, Eric can tell you because I designed his show last year, and I know what I'm doing. So I'm bargain basement rates compared to
And he
what
built
other
the
people
grid,
offer. And
so-
I built the grid, so I know the system inside and out. So that's an added bonus. Question?
And for an hour-long show, how many hours would you anticipate us?
I'd be there for your. I'd come in and do it during your tech, and as long as you don't have 2 billion cues for an hour-long show, which I have programmed. No, King Joe. No, but I have done 175 cues for an hour-long show before, which was like, yeah, that's like 3 cues a minute. All right, yeah.
General rule of thumb, just to jump in there, 5 minutes per cue, whether it's lights, sound, or projections.
Yeah.
Average 5 minutes per
To
cue.
program that.
To program.
Yeah.
So if you're standing on stage and it feels like there's nothing going on, there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
And if you have 7,500 cues, multiply that by 5, and that's how long we're going to need.
So, but typically I can come in to your tech, which is going to be 3 times the run of your show. We'll get you.
Yeah,
So we have
I
some
got you.
questions out here too, but we got you. I can come in and do it during your tech. So if it's a 1 hour show, it's a 3 hour tech, so $75 for a 90-minute show. You know, just do the math accordingly.
Or if you have your own designer, I'd be like, Michael, I know you can design. Like if you wanted to do it yourself.
You don't need us. You've
fine.
programmed this. Yeah. Okay. So Ben, and then David, and then Josh. Okay.
So our show's kind of weird because we have
Yeah, you guys are special.
lighting cues. So my question is, would it be difficult when you provide it to run one more XLR DMX cable from your booth to here to connect to our podium to our lights?
Actually, we already have DMX running from here to there. You need to run it through QLab though.
I think that's what you guys are going to talk about after.
You and I need to go have.
We'll have a separate.
We're gonna figure that out because you're firing off a QLab, which is a completely different system.
And we're running our own lights as well. We're not going to use any of yours. So.
Yeah,
You have a
we are a whole separate conversation. So
Will you get the thing Wednesday, the office hours?
I'm probably gonna be watching the Red Sox beat the shit out of the Angels.
But you guys can talk.
yeah.
Sometime after.
Well, you and I will actually have a meeting. David.
So if we have something that's really, really basic, where there's just a sound cue that plays out, lights up,
Yep.
and lights down at the end with a slight fade.
Sure.
If it's that basic.
If I can program your show in 5 minutes, I'm doing it for free.
So I'm just saying,
Oh, cool.
I think as far as like what you were saying, like download a file
Yeah.
for the software system, I don't think we need to do that. We can just show up at 10, right?
Yeah, if you guys want somebody else to design your stuff for you, if you want me to design your stuff for you, book me now because I'm actually booking up pretty quickly. But if your show is literally lights up, lights down, like 2 cues, I will come in and program your show in 5 minutes for free at no charge.
And the stage managers are also.
And the stage managers are also capable of programming a basic show like that as well. So that's easy. So that's the lighting. We also have the cyc. We actually have 5 1K cyc lights that hang from the back of the grid here, and you get RGB, red, green, blue, and you can mix the colors. Oh, and Josh, you totally had a question, and I left you hanging.
It was just to verify what you just said, that if our show is just lights up, lights down, we don't need to do a whole big thing.
you know, either I or your stage manager will program your show in like 5 minutes if it's lights up, lights down. We'll actually leave a stock plot just for that we'll just copy paste probably.
Okay, cool.
So, but yeah, so we have, like I said, top and side lighting is LEDs, incandescents for the front. We also have incandescent cyc lights for color mixing, which can be used to great effect. It's not even, it's not an even wash, so you're not going to get perfect color blending and color mixing. And because they're not LEDs and it's just red, green, and blue gel, it's still very analog. So you're not going to get, it's going to be nice, a little textured, you know, you're going to get some color gradient and stuff like that. I had somebody get really upset with me when I couldn't do a solid pink, bubblegum pink wall for them like that last year, and this, you know, can't happen. But you can get some lovely, lovely texturing and mixing and things like that, and it'll do.
It looks awesome.
It does look awesome. You know, look at some of the production photography from last year, particularly Eric's show, you know, Nothing Bad or Werewolf Rock Musical. You can look at that for what was done with it, and it looks great. So that's lights. Any other questions regarding lights before I move on?
So
We'll get you in a second, Marcus.
if we're able to download software and program basic looks, do we need to go through to come and review those?
No, if you guys do it correctly,
That's the thing.
I mean,
So-
if you want somebody to verify your stuff, your
Yeah.
stage manager should be able to verify and fix.
Yeah, the question you guys online, the question was, if you do download the patch file and program at home, do we need to like hire a designer to verify it? The answer to that is no. Once we put it into the system during your tech, your stage manager is going to be able to check it out and make some tweaks to it if they need to. But that's a great way to do it, though. Just download the file.
So, and real quick though, Nomad does have a learning curve.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's a pretty steep one. So if you don't know Nomad, don't try to teach it to yourself right now, because the thing is that when you're doing it on the computer, you're not going to be able to get any output because you're not going to have any devices to link into it. So if you're just doing it blind, you're like a bat. You're flying blind. And you're just going to go right into a wall, and it's going to be a miserable experience for everybody. Get a designer to come in and do it for you. If you have somebody who knows what they're doing, or if you know what you're doing yourself, then have at it. You know, it's sort of like putting the file out there and saying download software. It's like telling somebody who understands Linux how to set up their own server. You know, you got to know what you're doing in order to do it right. And if you do it wrong, it's going to be bad for everybody. So anyhow, and Marcus, you had a question?
Yeah. Okay. So you said now you have two spotlights, right? Two spotlights.
They're two of the adjustable focus Lecos that were there last year. That you know, they're not like the shuttered one that I set up for you. I'm not going to have available this time because of the fact that this is Fringe and that we're, you know, it's a rep plot. But these are two adjustable focus Lecos that will not be gelled, and they will be hard focused crisscross on the downstage poles. So you can move them as your show sees fit, but you need to restore them as part of your 15 to their default position. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's it for lights. Let's move on to sound real quick. Sound is, we have QLab.
Same thing at the Hobgoblin.
Same thing at the Hobgoblin. We have a QLab system. Here at Studio Stage, we actually have a 5.1 surround sound system. I can think of only one show that's going to probably be using 5.1 surround sound, and that's going to be mine. Oh, no, wait, there's two. Oh, yeah, we have two shows. Final Preparations will also be using 5.1 surround sound. But if you guys have just a stereo plot, don't worry, it's going to sound just fine, okay? Because we can pipe stereo through all 5 speakers and the subwoofer and make it sound awesome. So,
does your QLab license include video?
Yes, it does. Yes, and actually, we've been doing the rent to own, and we'll actually have the rent to own fully paid off before Fringe this year. Just the video and audio. We don't have the lighting license, but we can purchase the lighting license for you as you know, in addition. That's something, because I know we're going to need that for you. Well, you and I are going to just have to go have a separate consultation. But okay, so his show, he's actually doing a live game show on stage, complete with lighting and stuff like that. That, you know, like his set lights up when you hit the button to answer or respond to questions. So he's got some really cool shit, and he's a whole special channel. But go see the game show and play in the game show. Okay. Yeah. So, QLab, it's free software. It's relatively easy to learn. It's not as steep a learning curve as Nomad, but it does take a little bit of getting to know what you want to do. Our stage managers are trained in it, so they will be able to set up a plot for you with fades and with, they can handle the video if you have video elements. By the way, that is a high-def projector in the ceiling. The resolution on it is 1920 by 1280. That's a spec that everybody asks me for all the time, so please write that down. It's 1920 by 1280, that's the resolution. So if you're going to have images or anything like that, and you don't want them to look like pixelated crap, make sure that your resolution of anything you're putting in there is in that neighborhood. Okay?
For sound, can I just jump in on something?
Yes, absolutely.
So for sound files, if you're sending us sound files for your sound plot, there are a couple things to be aware of. We can't use the Apple protected, I bought it off of iTunes this morning, music.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work. So figure out how to illegally convert it on your own and then send it to me as an MP3.
Plenty of places to. No, not an MP3.
MP3s will work. I can convert to waves at that point.
Yes, okay, but better, first off, don't be that guy who's got like the solo show and comes in with, I've got this thing on YouTube and I've got this on a CD and I've got this on my flash drive. Please come in with all of your media pre-sorted and in the same format. Also, we have amped up our computers, but last year we did have a hard drive failure during Tech Week, during previews actually. It got through Tech, but then the hard drive shit the bed during previews. And I had to spend 12 hours and put a brand new hard drive in the computer. Solid state drive, so it's fast. It's significantly faster. But have your plots backed up, both your lighting and your sound plots. Make sure they're backed up on a thumb drive that you carry with you. We will also have a thumb drive here that we will put your plot on. Because we lost everybody's plots on that hard drive. Thank God we had the thumb drives.
That was a fun day.
That was a fun day. And it died a slow, painful death. But here's the other thing is, if you have audio, please don't layer like a million sound cues onto each other, because you're gonna because it's an iMac with 16 gigs of RAM and a solid state drive, so it's fast, but it's still an iMac from 2009. So it's not, it's not rip-roaring gaming machine. So if you layer too many sound cues and stuff like that, it might stall, stutter, whatever. So the more you can merge, the better.
And here's the thing, we can layer it for you. So don't feel like you need to build the perfect thunderstorm with the door creaking and then the thunder and then the lightning and then the rain and then another door. Just give me those separate cues. Give me your door, your doorbell, and your rain, and I'll layer it for you.
Yeah.
Okay?
So in addition to bringing a thumb drive as a backup, are we sending it to your email? Saying here's mine.
So the question is where to send files, where to send sound files.
Yes.
Okay.
Someone will tell you their preferred method. So if you're with me, yes, I'll give you my email address and you can send it to me ahead of time. I'll text it to you, too. I'll send it to you.
We know where to find you.
Yeah. Some SMs will just want it on a thumb drive. When you do send us files, please make sure that they're labeled so we know what they are. So not just Q Bob, Q Cat, like really Q Scream page 7 if you can. That gives us the most information, because otherwise what happens during attack is we've got your files and you're saying, it's the baby crying. Well, you've got 4 baby crying. Which one do you want? A long one. Why? Still don't know. So as much information as you can put in the title of your sounds, the easier it is for us to get them fast.
And also, side note on that, last year we had some people who were being very helpful with the best of intentions. So what they did was hand our stage managers already notated scripts, which, boy, does that sound great. It's terrible. Because then the stage manager's like, wait, this isn't how I do my own notes. I don't know how you do notes. I'm all confused. So just give them the script, give them the labeled sound files. They will notate their own scripts, and everyone will be good to go.
Yep.
I got you, Marcus. Hold on 1 second. We're going to go Chris first.
I just wanted, because you had mentioned like the sounds can be layered, we just want to provide the files. Since I've done my show previously and I actually already have like a QLab, that's fine. Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, if you have QLab file, just hand it over.
Marcus, and then we got you. Marcus?
Should we email the stage manager our script with the lights and sound cues already there?
No.
Did we just
Just the
No.
raw script.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll fill in the notations for as they go.
What was- I couldn't hear you.
Oh, it's okay. They'll notate the script as they go at tech. Okay, because
Okay.
each stage manager has their own style, so they want.
Okay.
So and another thing, real quick. Ideally, guys, MP3s are compressed audio files. Erin will convert stuff to WAV, which plays a lot nicer. It's an uncompressed file format, so the computer's not unpacking and playing the file at the same time. It just has to play it, so it saves a lot of processing power, which means it's less likely to skip or stall or crap out on you. If you can already come in with it in WAV file, it's going to save time.
So much better.
It's going to save so much time if you can already come in with all your audio in WAV.
Google free wave
Yeah, and some of them will even strip iTunes protection for you in doing so. You didn't hear. We're going to put that on the cutting room floor. We don't advocate any sort of illegal activities here at Studio Stage. The Hobgoblin, on the other hand, is a completely different story. And projections, you want it as uncompressed video as possible. That's going to lead to some really big files, but that's fine, because again, you don't want it to be unpacked in the file as it goes. And it's an HD projector, so try to make sure your files are HD or the JPEG.
Glamorous. Okay.
It'll do MP. We'll get you in a second. I got you, Josh. Roll pretty well.
Maybe if I just hold the green up on a fucking hardcore, yeah. So move her up.
There's some background noise.
Yeah, can you guys mute?
And
Each one of you.
really good. Not really getting her.
Marcus and Josh, please. There you
It's
go.
not on my end.
No worries. Gotcha. All right. Thank you, Josh. And we'll so, yeah, a QuickTime tends to work best because that's a native Apple format. Yeah, so that works pretty well.
Well.
And Josh, you had a question.
And then unmute. Now you have to unmute.
Oh, you got it. You're still muted.
You have to.
I unmuted when I talk. Anyway, double click.
All good.
First world problems. Anyway, all the audio stuff you were just talking about is like running from QLab and audio files. Is there just an audio in cable? We just run everything live.
Yeah,
okay.
We'll have an audio in cable. It'll play in stereo.
Okay, but is that it? It's just 1/8 inch in. That's what we have to get down to, or
Yeah, actually, and that's right. You're at the Hobgoblin, and the Hobgoblin does not have 5.1. The Hobgoblin just has stereo. But yes, you will just have an aux in that you can use.
Okay, so everything needs to get down to 1/8 inch stereo mix. Got it.
Yeah, exactly.
To get down to, and then you said there's going to be a projector there. There's not going to be a projector there. We usually bring.
It's actually going to be the same models we have here at Studio Stage. So.
Okay, we usually bring our own. Is that okay, or is it easier to use the one that's there?
15, or actually, we could probably mount that. We could probably mount that special for you.
Oh yeah, we have usually just so our puppet house has a screen built onto the back of it, and we usually just put the projector behind and rear project so it creates a digital set. But sometimes, what's that?
I think what I need to do is I need to schedule a time before your first show, probably during the daytime of that day. Probably like
Okay.
You guys can come in and we can take care of all this stuff, but you and I will talk about this separately.
Okay, I can also send you like a drawn out like stage plot of what it looks like.
That'd be really helpful.
Okay, because if it's easier to use your projector, we're totally fine with that. But we've always just used our own.
Well, ours is going to be mounted in the ceiling in the grid. So
okay.
And it's going to be front facing. So if you need rear projection, bring your own.
We don't specifically need rear facing. It's more of a question of like what it's projecting on and where.
Yes,
yeah.
We'll talk show specific stuff. You and I will have a separate meeting. Okay.
Okay. Cool. Got it.
Cool. So yeah, that's enough for tech right there. Oh, sorry, Dave. Yes, that's where it's going to live. 14 feet tall. It can go up to 14 feet tall. If you need to have it tightened or whatever, we can actually change. We can actually shrink it virtually in QLab. We're not going to change the settings on the projector because nobody needs to bust out a damn ladder. In your
And usually people always ask, how far back can you go without there being a shadow? Usually to about this line here.
Yeah.
Unless you are a giant light bear. But for normal people, here is usually fine.
Yeah. She's not joking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, meter
You guys
run.
need a meter break?
Okay.
Good.
Press on.
We will move on. Tech and dress expectations.
All right.
Erin, do
You
you want
guys
to
want to
switch?
switch?
Okay, so we're talking about first tech rehearsal expectations. So when you come to tech, there are a few things that will happen. First, we will make sure that your actors, if they aren't familiar with the space, get a walkthrough of the space. We'll show them load-in procedures, bathrooms, things like that, where we're storing things. We'll talk about your 15 minutes and how that's going to work. And then we get to work with cues. So if you have designers that you're bringing in, they can go up there and they can get started. They'll get started working. If your stage manager is programming your cues, we'll get to work. While we're programming cues, the best thing is to have your actors quiet. If you want to keep them here, have them quiet. They could even be out in the lounge if you want them to run lines. That's totally fine. But this space echoes like crazy. So if you're down here in the house and I'm up there and you've got 5 other people that are having conversations, we're not going to be nearly as efficient. So that's the first thing, is please ask them to be quiet so that we can get things done. We aren't going to probably run your show that day. It's going to be a cue to cue. So don't expect that you're going to get a tech run in. It will definitely be a cue to cue. In some cases, hopefully we will get through the whole show. Sometimes if you are adding cues left and right, or you're not quite sure where you want cues, we may not even get through the show, and then we'll talk about when we can get in to get more time to program your cues. And that's fine, it happens. It's not a bad thing, it's just what it is. But we'll make every effort we can to get everything programmed in that time. At the end of tech, we will talk about how you're loading out in your 15, so everyone knows where to put things, what they're doing, and then you'll be on your way after tech. We started doing dress rehearsals this year, which I'm so excited about, because last year, as Eric and Theo can tell you, they didn't get a run of their show until we opened the show, because I think we were confused up until a couple hours before you guys opened.
Yeah.
And that's like really all dressed up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really typical of Fringe shows. The main reason we're doing dress rehearsals is because I've seen too many previews where the producer gets up and goes, "Hey guys, I'm so sorry. This is the first time we're running with tech." You know? Yeah. And like, we don't want to do that to you guys. We want you to have.
I want it to be a good show.
Let's also make sure we get your tech done during your
Yeah. So come prepared for tech so we can get it done. So then when you get for dress rehearsal, the idea is we're going to practice like this is a real deal. So we'll do a loadout outside. You'll have your 15 minutes. You'll come in. We're going to go at 15. We're going to get through the show. And then everybody has extra time at the end. So if we need to retime things, we need to rework a couple cues, you'll have that time at the end. But the goal of dress rehearsal is let's run it. Let's see where we are. Let's give everybody a chance and kind of do one of those things of, you know, if the lights go out because maybe you and I missed a cue, tell the actors keep going. I'll bring up lights. That's fine. We'll have lights and you and I will sort it out later. But I don't want to hold a show. I don't want, stop, let's fix this. Let's give them a run. Because there's nothing more frustrating for an actor to have to just assume that everything's going to be perfect when they're on stage, right? We want everyone confident. So let's give them a run, and then we'll have that time after your dress. We'll fix anything we need to fix. We'll do a 15-minute loadout, and everybody will be happy, and we will be much more calm and prepared for opening.
Yay! Okay. That's Marcus.
Question.
Yes,
Question in the peanut gallery here.
Go ahead.
My tech and dress rehearsals is going to be going on the same day.
Yeah, there's several.
So how would that play a part?
Same idea. We'll do your tech, and then are you back to back, or is there a gap?
It's like a 2-hour, 3-hour gap or something like that.
Back to back. So we're gonna try to keep it to the allotted time for each thing. So if you do have if your tech and your dress are actually back to back, which some shows are because they're coming from out of town, then yeah, we're gonna try to keep it the allotted time. So for a 90-minute show, it's 4.5 hours for tech, and then we stop, and then we do the dress. So the goal will be to keep it in the normal time.
Right. And the other part of that, the reason we do the dress, not only to give you the run on stage, but also that 15 minutes, because
That's something you gotta rehearse.
Yeah, we gotta practice it. It's like a dance. You kind of have to think of it like a choreographed dance when you're doing a load in and a load out for Fringe. I'm the production manager for Theater Unleashed, and I assign everybody very specific roles. They know who's coming in the door first, who's going out the door last. And it is a dance. If I filmed it, it would look like a really odd ballet.
We rehearse it. We rehearse it before we get to Fringe. Like, we have a night where we just rehearse our movie.
Yeah, yeah.
But
so we'll want to practice
those.
Yeah, so we'll practice those too. But that's generally tech and then dress rehearsal so that we're ready to go for preview. Any questions? All right.
Moving right along.
Try it again.
Storage. Okay, so I've seen a lot of your surveys that you guys all completed, and there's not a whole lot of you that are saying like, I have a giant thing I need to store. Once in a while there is. That's cool. So both here and the Hobgoblin have the huge advantage of having a ton of storage space. Most venues will say you can't store a single thing. So
or give you a shelf that's like 1 by 2.
So
have fun
here,
with your shoebox.
Yeah. So here we have we have an upstairs little room there where everyone in studio stage, and actually the Hobgoblin is too, you can bring one Rubbermaid bin. So like, don't get the ginormous ones. I think it's like the 14-gallon ones that are like normal size. Go ahead and bring your own bin. You can put all your stuff in there that you can fit. So your costumes, your props, what have you. Even like your programs and stuff. Great, keep them here.
And label your bin on all 4 sides and the top. All 4 sides and the top.
With a Sharpie or something. So those will be stacked up in the little room up next to the booth. At the Hobgoblin, they are going to be stacked backstage, right behind the backstage door. There's a nice little area for them. Now the other thing is that in both spaces, we have some extra room to store stuff. So that's amazing. So here we've got the loading dock.
The inner dock.
The inner dock, not outside. So if you have flats, if you have, I know someone wanted a tree, who's Leah? Yeah, that's fine. Last year I ended up saying like, yeah, just talk to me about stuff and we'll figure it out. And then I realized at tech, like, I've told everyone that. Oh my gosh. And then it was actually fine. So like, I figure we'll figure it out. At the Hobgoblin, we have even more room. So you basically can store anything you need. I'm going to really encourage everyone at the Hobgoblin to do that because parking sucks.
Be very careful with offering.
Just bring it in. I've looked at their survey.
Okay.
Marcus, yes.
Can we bring, like, I know like last year we had, is Jerron there? I believe Jerron, is he there? Is Jerron in the audience?
Yep.
Okay. He has like stool, table, stuff like that he'll bring from his house. Could he store those in the inner dock area?
Most likely, yes. We also have a lot of stock pieces here as well. So, and actually, if you guys want to, or Marcus, if you want to look around and see if there's stuff we can use, because I know we have a stool, we've got stock pieces. So if you guys want to use the stuff that's already in the space, that's great too.
Okay.
That's the other thing. So the next thing is stock pieces. So in terms of the pieces that we have here, we have these 3 here, and then 1 more rolling flats. They're really nice. They make some nice masking, and you can project on them, even though they're hot. I was so surprised last year, but our show, the Spidey Project, we thought we were gonna have to cover them in a white sheet or something, and then we turned the projector on, and we're like, oh, it's bright.
It's 5,000 lumens. It'll cut through.
It's amazing. So you can go ahead and project on those, and you can roll them around, and whatever. We have, I want to say 6 or 7 stage boxes here. You're welcome to use. We have
a couple of them are at Emerson right now.
Some
We'll
of them
have them
are
back by
Emerson.
Thursday.
They're coming back. We have some tables in the back. We have chairs galore. We have some stools.
Oh, you do have tables, okay.
So
yeah, we do have a couch.
Take a look today. Like, we'll walk around the space today. Take a look and see if there's things that you want to use. Just know that like everyone's gonna use them. So put them back when you're done.
And a note just about that. We're gonna have designated areas for all of these stored pieces.
Yes.
So if your show brings it on stage, your show has to put it back to its place. Because we don't want someone else coming in going, oh my gosh, where's the table? Where's the table? And it's normally over there, and you got creative and thought, oh, it should actually go out in the lobby.
the number of times we pulled some of the stock pieces out of the lobby because people thought that somebody brought the nice lobby furniture into here. That's not the case.
We'll go over to attack if you're borrowing something for this, and whoever's moving it is.
All right. Any questions? Cool. Great. Okay, rules of space. So basically, you guys, the main thing about tech, this is the cardinal rule, is you gotta start and end on time. You have to start and end on time. And of course, the reason for that, and everyone will tell you this all the time, is that people will walk out of your show.
We've done it.
If it's going over. Not because they hate you, but because they gotta get to their next show. So, I control how long your show is listed on the Fringe site. So, if you have a show that is 45 minutes, and you have a 60-minute slot, and then you realize, it's really going 50 minutes, and I want to list that on the Fringe site, just let me know. It's fine. I will change it. If you have a 60-minute slot and you realize that your show's going 90 minutes, you need to cut your show because I don't have the time in our schedule. You'll run into the next show. Yeah. So please keep that in mind. We had a show a couple years ago called 25 Plays Per Hour. You have to keep it at 20 an hour, and you have to keep it 25 plays because it's literally the title. And 3 days before we opened, it was running an hour 10. And we were like, what do we do? Oh my God. And that year we had told everyone and we had advertised that if we go over, we buy the entire house a drink because we're a bunch of idiots. So our solution, I think you were in it that year. I think that year we just talked really fast. And we had a stopwatch backstage and we had a list of shows. And we knew exactly the second we had to be at that show. And she threatened us that she was going to stop the show.
Yeah.
It worked. We got it to an hour. And then I would be backstage and I'd be like, you guys, we're behind. Go faster. Like, I mean, it was ridiculous. Don't do that. It was very stressful, but we made it every night. We never had to buy anyone a drink. So, point is, start and end on time. Yeah. Upstairs neighbors. We do have upstairs neighbors. So we have them at the Hobgoblin as well.
As we found out.
We thought it was a ghost. No, it's people. So if you
dog
hear,
with a squeaky toy.
Yeah. If you hear footsteps,
that makes so much more sense.
I know, right?
Yeah, right?
Yeah. We thought it was a ghoul. No, it's upstairs. So once in a while you will hear some footsteps up here.
You might even hear them now because they're up there now.
Yeah, usually in the evening when your shows are, they're usually not there. They're also very, very aware of Fringe. We tell them every year, you guys, there's going to be 97 performances in here. We're really sorry. So they'll be fine. But we just want to make you aware of that. If you do hear something, don't freak out.
We're going to talk about parking in a minute too.
Yes.
But I want to take this moment while we're talking about our upstairs neighbors. They are wonderful people and very understanding about stuff. But there is one thing that they take no bullshit over, and that's their parking spaces in the back lot. Okay, we're going to talk about parking, and it's a separate thing. We have a system worked out. But if you have someone who's coming in that's extra or whatever, don't let anybody park in the 2 spaces on the right-hand side in the back parking lot labeled Snow Studios. They will tow. They have towed. Okay, and they do it with no warning. This is your warning. Don't park in anything labeled Snow Studios.
Where it says Snow Studios.
That is the one thing that I will hear about later from everybody.
But we'll talk about it.
We're going to take a field trip in a few minutes.
Yeah, so you'll get to see it, but I'm just putting that in big bold letters for y'all right now.
The kitchen and the fridge at Studio Stage. Now, we do have a fridge at the Hobgoblin, but we're afraid.
We haven't opened it yet. We're kind of scared. So
it's been there for 5 years and we're afraid. So
yeah, it's been.
Don't worry about it there. But here, we have a fridge and we have a kitchen. You guys are welcome to use. Sometimes people have like consumable props. You're welcome to store them here. You have to label them. Because if there's a whole crap ton of food in there that I don't know what it is, I'm tossing it. So please, please, please label your stuff. Or if you just know, like, I'm going to need a snack before my show, also fine. Just label it. Otherwise, I'm eating. Or get rid of it. So again, that's it. That's pretty much the rules in space. Please start and end.
And if something breaks, let us know.
Yeah.
Please don't just tuck it under a table or turn it around or something like that. If your cast does something, just come tell us. We're very nice.
Yeah, it'll be fine. And people are going to be storing things in here. If it's not your thing that you have not stored, please don't use it. If it's one of our stock pieces, go ahead and use it. No problem.
And actually, I do have one more rule to the space, which I think is really important to bring up. The thermostat is over there by the bathroom. Don't touch it. Okay? We know it's going to be hot out. We know it's going to be summer. Sometimes it can get a little warm in here. Here's the thing. It's set at 73. It needs to stay set at 73. Turning it down to 40 is not going to make it cooler in here faster.
It'll break it.
What it's going to do is burn out the motor, and then nobody has any air conditioning at all for 3 to 5 days while we wait for a technician to come in.
And
if somebody does that, I will let everybody know who is the person that did it. Okay? But no joke though, guys. It can. This place in here is like a natural cave, so it's going to stay cooler in here even when it's hot as hell out.
Yeah.
So this should be a non-issue.
And
but don't touch the thermostat, and please tell your casts
and
anybody else that comes in here. We'll probably have a lock cover on it, but tell everybody don't touch it.
And in nearly every other Fringe venue I've been in, last year during Fringe we were fine, but nearly every other Fringe venue I've ever performed in, someone has broken the AC because some actor's like, I need it to be 53 degrees. And
it's too hot. It'll cool down faster. Doesn't work like that.
Don't do it. There you
go. Yeah. And then along with just the shared assets, be aware that if you see something that you want to use because you forgot something, ask us first before you grab it. I'm going to tell you the tale.
Oh, God.
That
bar tab was epic. All right. I'm going to...
So we were doing a show about 7 years ago. It's a Western called Round Rock. And we realized that one of our chairs was broken. So someone went out to the back and grabbed a chair, unbeknownst to me, and it randomly appeared on the stage.
I want to make it clear, this is a producer that did this. I was not affiliated.
Yeah, it wasn't us.
So they went out.
So we had to take it out.
They went out to the back of the courtyard and they grabbed a chair. Randomly, this chair appeared on stage, and I was like, "That's not his chair. Where'd that chair come from? I wonder whose chair that is." Well, the show next door to us was titled "The Three Chairs." Guess who we had 2 chairs? Because the third chair was sitting on our set for a 2.5-hour show.
It's very bad.
Fast forward to very angry actors and a producer, and Greg and I paid about a $350 bar tab that night, and everything was all well with the world again. So please, don't take certain things. We don't have multiple shows going on here, so we're not going to have that happen. But we also don't want something to break on stage, and then the next show that is the 3 chairs only has 2 because someone decided to stop.
Yes, that chair from the 3 chairs, is that available?
We did not keep the chair.
We had to return the chair.
So that's a fun little story.
So just remember the tale of the 3 chairs.
Yeah.
Don't be a 3-chair stealer.
One other thing about Studio Stage in particular, and actually this is the same thing in the Hobgoblin, and we'll show you guys this in the Hobgoblin. Over here, we have a lovely pole, and on the back upstage part of it, we have some kind of crazily gaff-taped cords. Goes into a little outlet. This outlet controls all the LEDs. So it is on stage. So if you have an actor who goes, oh my gosh, I don't know what this is, I'm gonna unplug it. You don't have any lights. So please don't touch the cord.
Yeah.
Same thing in the Hobgoblin. There are LEDs, they are plugged in to the wall. We will show everyone who is there. Don't unplug the lights.
And they're all daisy chained together.
Oh yeah.
So if you unplug that one thing, you lose all of them.
So don't do it.
Yep.
Is it all possible since there's only 12 users potentially?
There's 2 more over here, and there's actually another outlet over there too.
You have so many powers.
We got you. Don't worry. I see you. I see you.
That one.
Yeah. No. It's a good question.
I'm gonna try to get some sort of lockbox or something on that because I don't want any like audience member to move.
Charge my phone here.
The other thing.
You know it's gonna happen.
But let me also say that if they get unplugged, these lights, if you're really quiet, that whirring sound, that's them. Okay, but when they first reboot, and for about the first half hour after they reboot, it's louder than a B-52. Okay, they are loud when they first come back on. So if they get unplugged,
it's gonna be loud.
It's gonna be loud. Okay, before they get established and cool down. Okay, so don't let them get depowered.
Tell all your actors, don't touch the cord.
Yeah.
Don't touch the cord. We'll tell you that at tech as well. Don't touch the cord. Okay. Woo! Rules. All right, we're heading towards the end here. Insurance. This
is boring shit. Yeah, I'd leave too at this point. I'm with you. It's all good.
We're gonna try that quick.
Yes. Brevity is not my strong suit. Okay. So there are two kinds of insurance that you guys need to be aware of. Probably, is anybody here working as a for-profit or under the auspices of an LLC or anything like that? Good. You guys. Okay. Okay, but you got your solo show and your solo. So you guys don't need to worry about workers' comp. All right. Nobody here should have to worry about workers' comp if you're working with volunteers. If you are paying your actors as employees, then you need to get workers' comp. We don't handle that stuff. Look it up. But there are two kinds of insurance that you guys are going to want to have to carry. If you're working under the auspices of a nonprofit, you're going to want to carry volunteer accident insurance. Okay, policies for that are actually really cheap. I recommend getting your own because then you can have it for the year. Typically, it's actually by calendar year. And our renewal for our volunteer accident policy is in July. So if you you can get onto our rider for $50 for that. I recommend if you're working, and what this does basically is it protects anybody that's volunteering for you. So your door person, your tech people, your cast, your crew, even your audience is actually, well, no, your audience is not. But, you know, if anybody slips, falls, gets injured, they're covered. Okay, so I recommend having that. So if you're working under the auspices of a nonprofit, then your volunteers are covered in case anybody gets hurt. Now, the other thing that you guys are going to want to carry, we actually require this. We don't require volunteer accident, but we require commercial liability insurance. Okay, up to $2 million. Sounds like a lot of money to get paid out. It's really cheap to buy in. Commercial liability covers your audience. If some third party comes in here and your set piece, your actor, we did almost have an actor fall onto somebody at one point, nearly causing injury during Spidey, way back when Kyle was doing the rope swing in the middle of one of the songs. He almost, it was a friend that he landed on, so it worked out. But if somebody here, a third party, you know, if something to do with your show injures them, physically, not mentally or emotionally, you guys can do the scarring stuff and whatever, that's not covered under insurance, then you're covered, okay? It's an insurance claim at that point, no one's getting sued, hopefully, and you know, then they're covered. So we require that everybody has that. Commercial policies can be expensive by themselves, but what you can do with us is you can actually buy onto our rider. It's $128.25 to buy onto our rider, okay? And we require this. If you have your own policy, send me proof of insurance. If you don't, buy onto the rider, and then you guys are actually good until our policy renews in mid-April next year. So if you wanted to put up another show or something else, Curtis, we actually did just do our renewal. So last year, because I know that you did the show last year and you were bought on then, you would actually have to buy on again at this point. Yeah, 128.25. Yeah, sorry about that.
And most of you guys, we've already gone over this, so that's what he's talking about, the 128.25.
Yeah. So I'm bringing it up again because it's important, but this was talked about as when we were pitching packages to you guys too. But just so everybody remembers, the insurance is separate.
Same thing in the Hobgoblin as well.
Same thing in the Hobgoblin as well. So Josh will get you in a second. And question?
So the $50 for the volunteer insurance, that's for nonprofits. What about LLCs?
Technically, a for-profit can't have people volunteering for it. So as a result, volunteer accident is the nonprofit version of workers' comp. Gotcha. That's the easiest way to describe it. I know it's not a perfect analogy, but it's apples to oranges at that point. They're both fruit. They both do generally the same job, but it's different. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
I have a question about the insurance for the theater. Is it possible to use like a candle?
We're going to talk about that separately. We'll talk. Is anybody else planning on using open flame during their show? Honest question.
No.
Okay. So we'll talk separately.
Yeah.
I'm a maybe on that, Greg.
What's that, Joe?
I'm a maybe on that.
You're okay. We'll talk separately.
Ideally, no, but.
Okay. And Josh, you had a question?
Is commercial liability the same as general liability?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's commercial. Yes. So it's So you buy onto ours and you're good to go. If you already have one, just send me a copy of your policy and you're golden.
When is there a deadline on when you need that by?
I need it all like the week before your tech. Okay.
Okay. We don't have a tech.
Oh, yours is at the very end. Okay, so if you guys are coming in from out of town, get it to me by the end of May.
Okay.
So if you're coming in from out of town, your tech is later in the run and stuff like that. I'd love to have all the insurance taken care of by the end of May.
Yeah, you and me both, brother.
Everybody else, look at when your tech is. If you're going to buy on, I need notification at least a week in advance, and I need the payment at least a week in advance, so I can go to our broker and have them write up the certification that you're added on. It's kind of quick for them to do that, but when they get bogged down with 30 requests, I think we had 25 people buy on last time. It takes them a day or two to get it all turned around, and I want to make sure that you're covered before you walk in for your tech.
So if you do,
because if there's going to be an injury, it's going to be then.
Yeah. If you guys do want to get on the rider, please just email me. Just let me know that. I will pass all that on to Greg, and then you'll follow up with the insurance.
Yeah. Cool. And yeah, so the only other kind of stuff that you might want to get, like I said, nobody here is working for profit, so workers' comp's a non-issue. Nobody here is using, even though we're 50 seats and under, nobody here is using the equity minimum wage contract. Good. Okay. Cool. Makes it a lot easier. So I'm cool here unless anybody else has got questions.
Yes.
Marcus, what's up?
Okay. I have like four questions that could be a yes and no. Okay. Okay. Will we be getting a show schedule of say like with my show, the show that's coming before mine and after mine?
Yes.
Each show.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Greg, will you be giving your schedule during tech time of when we can use you?
Well, book me in advance, and I will, as long as I'm not double booked. Okay. I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between the two properties. Okay. It's I just let me know if you want me to come in to program during your tech, and let me know when your tech is, or actually already does, and I can I can set my schedule accordingly. But because I'm bouncing back and forth between two properties, if you want to use me, book me early. Okay.
Okay.
Because I'm first.
How many stage managers will we be having per show?
You're going to have the same stage manager through the entire run of your production. So you'll have one stage manager.
I think it's Erin.
Okay.
You've got Erin.
And am I allowed to be near her upstairs?
Yes.
Buy her a drink first, and then you can figure it out. Right?
Oh, for sure. Most definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm relieved.
But I think yeah.
Good. Yes, we can hang out. All right.
Cool. Awesome.
Okay, you guys. So we're gonna do the load in, load out. That's gonna be a little trip. We're gonna do that at the end, I think. So we're gonna skip ahead real quick. So design services and recommended vendors. I've had a lot of you guys ask me about specifically publicity. Does anyone still need someone to help out with publicity in terms of like your press and press lists and Hollywood press and anyone? Everyone's covered? Maybe. Okay. Yeah, we have a couple. So who we usually recommend is our press guy from Theater Relations. His name is Jim Martica. And I know he's taken on quite a few you guys already. I know he's a couple spaces for some more. So you guys do want to talk with him. His name is Jim Martica. His email is Jim, J-I-M, and then Martica, which is M-A-R-T-Y-K-A @gmail.com. So if you want to email him, just say you're with Studio Stage or the Hobgoblin. He does great stuff. He has a huge press list, and he can help you out. If you guys do need like design services in terms of lighting, sound, things like that, please let us know. We can direct you to people, or we can give you grants. But it sounds like for the most part, everyone has everything pretty well in hand. But if you have any questions, just let us know. We'll work it out for you.
Spell his last name?
Jim Martica. It's like Marty, Marty, and then Ka.
It's Polish for village idiot.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so we'll talk about that if you need it. And then the participant Facebook group. So last year, what we did for Studio Stage, and we can do it for both venues this year, is we had a private Facebook group where we all were in there, and then we could all talk. Couple rules I want to set for it this year. I think we're going to have just the producers. Last year we had it so that anyone could
people were adding cast, people were adding company members that weren't even in the show.
Whatever. Like
this is not that. This is not a social group. This is a group that you guys can use to communicate with one another for, comp swaps, whatever, like any sort of communication you want back and forth between each other that's production related. So.
And then what I did is I ended up putting a schedule in there that was an everyday schedule of the Fringe, where you could look at it, like it's just gonna be a pinned post in there, and you can look at it and say, okay, I'm Snap Honey, and I see that, Survival Check is before me, and Buzzed Out is after me, and then you guys can talk to each other. So you could be like, hey, Survival Check, I need a table on stage. You guys need it on stage. Just leave it, So you guys will be able to talk to each other like that. But would that be helpful for you guys? Yes?
Cool.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
So I will create that. I will create that group. I will create 2 groups, one for the Hobgoblin and one for Studio Stage. So then you guys can talk to each other.
And again, guys, keep it to preferably one producer per production, but producers.
It'd be like producer and a director or whatever. We
Yeah,
just don't need like everyone has. This is also, those groups are not really a place to just advertise your show. Last year we had one particular group that just would spam it with like 1 million pictures of their show.
Yeah,
we all have shows. So
really, you're doing a Fringe show? No fucking shit.
No
So if you decide we want to hold all the shows in this venue, $5 tickets, put the code in there, and then it's on you guys as producers to share that with your cast.
Right.
Yeah.
But don't spam it.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. I will message you and say, you are that guy. Stop it. You'll know what I'm talking about. So I will do that. It'll take me a little time to put the schedule together, but I will pin it up there. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of list everyone off, who is in there and what show they're associated with. So then you can tag someone and be like, hey, Eric, I know that God the Apologies Tour is before my show today, so here's what we're doing. Cool. All right. We have Q&A time. Do you guys have questions that we did not cover?
Brittany. I want it a week before your tech. 128.25 for the commercial liability, or for the liability. And if you want on our volunteer accident policy, it's $50. Okay.
Let's run a show.
What's that?
50 for accident, volunteer accident, run a show.
Actually, it's good until we renew our policy in July.
So if you got an extension.
Yeah, so if you get an extension, you're good until, well, it's July 1st technically.
Oh, damn.
So, and that's not us. That's the insurance company that does that. It's a hard calendar date on that.
Do you need the 127.50 liable?
No.
No.
You can if
you guys have your own, right?
Yeah.
If you have your own, send me a copy of your rider. And like I said, the volunteer accident is you only need it if you're working under a nonprofit and you have third parties volunteering for you.
Yes.
Okay. That's when you need that. Because otherwise, if you're not working under the auspices of a business, if you're just a sole proprietor, which effectively you are if you're self-producing right now, if you're not a nonprofit, it's actually not going to help you. So don't waste the money.
Yeah.
Okay, put the $50 towards more postcards or something. PayPal is ideal, but if you're going to use with Venmo, okay, Venmo or PayPal are ideal for pretty much all payments for us. The biggest thing with PayPal is make sure you're using the send money to friends and family method, because otherwise we're going to ask you to also cover the fee that they take out. And when it's hundreds of dollars coming in at a time, that fee grows pretty quick. So.
Oh, one other thing, you guys. This is just random. He just reminded me when he said Venmo. For ticketing, for your box office in the lobby, if you are selling tickets at the door, have a way for people to pay that's not cash. Because no one carries cash. Well, some people do, but not many people do. So last year, we had a lot of people who had the Square app on their phone, which is great. But honestly, now, if you guys just want to set up a Venmo,
or a PayPal me link or something like that.
Yeah, or just something that they can just like do on their phone immediately. It's so fast and easy. And I know that up at Family Arts, they have concessions, and they just have their Venmo ID like sitting out on the desk. Like, just Venmo us. We don't even take cash. So that's awesome. So if you guys want to have your box office person do that, do it.
And with that, like, then you declare that at the end, or?
Not to us. We don't touch your box office. We don't care. The question was do you guys have to declare any electronic box office transactions?
Or anything you take at the door.
Anything you take at the door. You don't have to do it for us, and the Fringe doesn't take a cut of that. They do take the service fees on any tickets sold through their portal online. They will send a survey asking how many tickets or how many patrons you had walk up at the door and how many were paid versus how many were comped, because this helps them for their demographic information as a nonprofit. They're not going to come after you and say, hey, you owe us XYZ because you sold it. But they're going to want to know for their nonprofit stuff, which helps them get experience and things like that.
But if you're a couple patrons off, they're not going to be like, you're 3 people, sure.
Yeah, they're not tracking this. Christopher.
For tickets that people purchase off the Fringe website
yes.
versus at the door, has there ever been issues like,
It depends on when you set your cutoff for online ticket sales. Because there was a show that I went to once that had their cutoff at curtain. And I actually sat in the lobby, bought the ticket on my phone, and then I had to wait for the email to come through because they didn't have me on their printed list and they didn't have an online presence there. I'd assume they would because they set the...
Correct.
Yeah, so I had to wait for my confirmation email to come through to be like, hey, no, I legit bought a ticket, guys. And they were,
I would recommend to set your cutoff. I think the standard is like 2 hours before.
I think it's 4.
Or 4.
Yeah.
It could be shorter. Like if you want to change it in your admin page, you can. It could be an hour before, whatever. But just
we have Wi-Fi here if you want to be able to check your list.
Yeah.
Online.
Remember, 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah. They're trying to log in and write the door list and get front of house set up.
And let me get this out of the way right now. We have Wi-Fi here at Studio Stage. You will be accessing Studio Stage Guest Network. And the password is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0.
High tech security.
Luggage, yes. Yeah. Huh, that's amazing. It's the same combination as what's on my luggage. Spaceballs for anybody who was born after the 90s. Okay. And also, let me just throw this out randomly. We got a hot tidbit from Mr. Matthew Quinn, who is booking Family Arts, that they are getting a liquor license, and his intention is to make Family Arts Fringe East. So
we'll see if that happens.
It sounded to me last time I checked like this is pretty much a done deal. But his intention is to make that the go-to hotspot. So Fringe Central, although they haven't officially announced it, from what I understand, rumor, and this may change, rumor has it that Fringe Central is going to be where Dragonfly used to be, where they've had it for the last couple of years. I think we're in this one kind of about the Hobgoblin. But if you guys want to have an alternative place to go do your drinking and browsing post performance, or get your pregame on, we don't recommend drinking and doing a show. Please don't do your show. But if you want to pregame before you come see a show, Family Arts is apparently going to be a hotspot. So.
I have a question about that, about Fringe Central. Does that go on throughout the whole festival, or is it scheduled?
It's not happening during preview week. Fringe Central doesn't open until after the opening night party. Preview week, though, venues will be hosting individual parties. So we'll have a party here. We're still figuring out if we're going to do a party at the Hobgoblin or not. but we will have a party here. We're not going to hire anybody who karaoke party. We'll have the lyrics printed up on the site, and everybody's going to rock the fuck out. We had an epic Bohemian Rhapsody last year. So, you know, that's just how we roll.
Yes, question.
Hey, so this is probably too late to be asking this anyhow, but like in an effort to get people to buy tickets in advance, are tickets at the door ever more expensive at Fringe? It seems like
you can mark up your tickets at the door to whatever you want.
The question was, should you mark up tickets at the door and make them cheaper online to encourage people to buy online?
It's a good strategy.
Yeah, it's totally up to you. So you can do that if you want. The great thing about the website, the Fringe site, is that you can go in there and make discount codes at any time. So that's the other thing a lot of people will do, is that they will set their ticket price at $8 or whatever, but then they put out on social media, hey, here's a $5 discount code. And it's only good for today's show or whatever it is. The other thing that we always tell people about ticketing is Fringe time is so much different than like regular time. I know that sounds ridiculous, but like if you're looking at your tickets 3 days before your show and it's next to empty, don't freak out. 3 days in Fringe time is like a month because there's so much going on. So a lot of times at Fringe, people buy at the very last second.
Get used to that.
Get used to it. Yeah, it's nerve-wracking for sure. He hates me looking at our ticketing like, and he gets mad at me. But it's Fringe time is different than regular time. So if you have specific shows, like if you have like a super late night that you want to do a special for or something like that, or if you want to, and we always recommend that you pack your preview in any way you can.
We recommend straight up papering your preview because that and pack it with people who are Fringers who will then walk up your show. Yeah. Because the faster you get buzzed, the faster you're going to see your ticket sales move. Because people will buy tickets to shows that are buzzing because they're scared of them. What you don't want to do. I'm going to tell a really quick short story here.
Yeah, it's a good story.
4 or 5 years ago, this was, I want to say, about the 4th, 5th year of Fringe. Those of us that are the grizzled veterans that we are now, we were still like, we were only getting to be dyed in the wool grizzled veterans at that point. But there was a new generation, like there was the first generation of Fringers had mostly kind of departed. I think there's only like 3 of us that have actually been producing since year 1 that are still going consistently. I think it's us and Turbulence guys and Michael Shaw Fisher. But there was the first generation kind of left, and a whole new group of producers came in, all bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, heard about this wonderful thing called Fringe, and they're all about it. We had all kind of settled into a bit of a rhythm, and we knew how the ebbs and flows went, and we all knew everybody buys late. These guys didn't. And it was like a lot of them, like half the festival that year was brand new people, all new faces. It was amazing. Problem was, some of them, in the case of some of them, a week out, they look and said, oh my God, we have no pre-sales. And they started comping everything. They started putting codes out of desperation. Please come see my show. Please come see my show. Here's a comp code. Here's a comp code. And they started papering their regular run. You don't want to do that because then if everybody can get it for free, no one's going to pay for it. And if everybody's going to get it for free, there's no value. So they gave out tons of comps and they had empty houses. And those of us that were actually trying to sell a legit ticket couldn't move a damn thing. And everybody lost their shirts that year.
And it was just because people panicked a week
out. It was a brush fire.
Don't panic.
Yeah, but it was a panic brush fire. So don't sweat it. And I'll say this: the people last year who worked, who did a lot of took a lot of this, not that I'm saying that we're the perfect Fringers, but those who took our advice about marketing and papering and stuff like that, and when to comp and when to use discount codes and when to do stuff like that. For the most part, by and large, if they stuck to the recommended guidelines and listened to stuff at the town halls, they had lines down the block. The folks that didn't. So the advice that we're spitting up here, even if it's the 5th time you've heard it, we're repeating it because it works.
Yeah, and mainly go see other shows. Like shows that come in, they do their show, they go home. They're not going to get a lot of buzz. They're not going to get a lot of people seeing it. If you are out there, if you're seeing other shows, if you're talking to other people, one of the things that Greg always does is he'll take a picture of the program and tweet it out like, we're here, and Theater Unleashed is seeing whatever. that show sees that. It's like, oh my gosh, thank you for coming. What show are you doing? That's great. I'm going to. So like, there's a lot of collaboration at Fringe. People want to support other shows, but like, if I don't know you and you just go home, like I don't know who you are, you know? So go see other shows, and it's fun. Be a part of the community, and don't panic if you only have 3 people on your door list the day before, because, you know, what that means is go out to Fringe Central, go drinking and invite people, you know, and talk to them face to face. If you're going to comp privately. Shotgunning shit all over Facebook is not going to work, and it's only going to devalue your show.
And also, when you talk to people, actually talk to them. Nothing annoys Jen and I more than we're walking down the sidewalk and someone goes, "Here, go to my shower."
That Shakespeare guy did that, and I actually tore his postcard up in his face and threw it in.
And then we'll go back and pick it up with the trash can.
Because I felt bad.
Yeah. I'm not going to your show. So talk to people. Hey, what's your show? Oh, my show's this. Oh, great. Well, we're doing this. We should come see each other's shows. So talk to people. Be nice. Don't just shove postcards in their faces.
It seems like such a simple thing, but like to start a conversation talking about the other person instead of yourself makes all the difference.
And everybody understands how a comp swap works, right? Contact the producer. Okay, so basically, if you want to, it's swapping comps. It's being like, hey, wow, your show looks interesting to me. So I'm going to email the producer and be like, oh my God, I'm doing this show. I think your show looks awesome. How about I give you 2 tickets to my show and you give me 2 tickets to your show, and then we write each other reviews. Bing, bang, boom.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff is great, especially during preview week, when, you know, people are starting to build that buzz. If you are a person who will generate buzz for other people will buzz for you.
And take a look at the Fringe site. Like, have some time, just go through the shows that are on the Fringe site and see if there's anything that's relatable to yours. So like, I mean, we have, even in this own venue, like we have a show called Final Preparations and a show called Love After Death. Like, you guys can talk, you know? So like, things that
we have 2 Harry Potter parodies at the Hobgoblin.
Yeah.
You know, so, yeah, no joke.
So if you guys relate in any way, say like, hey, I read the description of your show. It looks like kind of similar to mine. Do you want to come see mine and I'll come see yours? We'll talk each other up. Yeah. People love that. It's so nice to do, and it's a great way to build audiences.
And Josh, you had a question?
That all sounds really neat if you live in LA. If you don't.
Yeah.
Any tips?
You are kind of, so coming from out of town, he has a Cthulhu puppet rock musical. Everyone just gasped.
Yeah, everybody. hey, Josh.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay.
So what might, actually though, but if you are out of town or if you can't get to a lot of the events, there's a lot of different things you can do as well online. So take a look. There's still Twitter chats going on. Take a look at when the Twitter chats are. They're all listed on the Fringe site.
Tweet at people, get people to retweet you and converse with you. Talk to the influencer accounts and stuff like that. We're going to pimp all you guys on all of our social media, which we're expanding the footprint of considerably here. We look at it as your success is our success. If you guys have a great experience here, you're going to want to come back. So we want to do everything we can within reason to make sure that you guys have a successful production.
So that's the other thing. As you guys are finalizing all of your graphics and things like that, send them to me. We're going to start putting them on our social media.
Send us your website. Send us your links.
Yeah. Our lift codes.
Yes. So because we are the fringe of the fringe.
That's what we call it.
That's kind of like our tagline for both properties, is that we're the fringe of the fringe, and it works really well. We want to encourage people to get off Santa Monica Boulevard and come out and see stuff. And the fastest way to do that, because parking around both properties, especially the Hobgoblin, sucks, is to take a Lyft. We don't like Uber, we like Lyft. We choose Pepsi, not Coke. So we have code for Studio Stage, that's just Studio Stage. Okay, no slash, no space, no nothing, but Studio Stage. It'll actually be on all of our printed marketing materials, and we will do a venue postcard, and it will be on there. But that's good for a first-time rider to get a discount off their first ride. So hopefully they could take their first ride from Fringe Central or from the complex or whatever over to here to see some really kick-ass theater. And for the Hobgoblin, I haven't created it yet, but it'll probably just be Hobgoblin if they let me have that. I'm hoping that they will. But otherwise, it'll be on all of our printed material as well. So we encourage people to use Lyft and rideshare. Also, if you guys are either at the Hobgoblin or if you want to see shows at the Hobgoblin, right behind the Hobgoblin is a city parking lot where it's a flat rate, $7 for the day. So what we recommend is going down, parking in the lot early, pay $7, and then lift to go see your 10 shows, however many shows you want to shotgun on that particular day, and then come back. And they don't let people into the lot after 12:30 at night, but they'll still let you out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's actually it's a decent place to park, and then you don't have to worry about parking down on Santa Monica, which also sucks. Parking in Hollywood sucks everywhere you are.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
So. Yeah.
Good question. I think they said concession sales would have to be in your load in, load out time. I'm curious if I wanted to do merch sales after the show, just out on the street for people. Would that be? Would I be able to, if there's still people there after the time that are talking to me? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. You know, what you guys do after your show, as long as you're not disturbing the production in here or their audience, is totally fine with us. That's fair game. You can't use our lobby though. It'll have to be outside. Let me also say this. There's going to be a lovely thing called a holdout line that's going to happen in the front of the theater. It's going to be people on the street. There is an etiquette. It's a hell of an opportunity to flyer people. There's an etiquette to that, okay? And the etiquette is ask the producer of the show that they're waiting for if it's cool to flyer their line. If they say yes, have at it. But always check with the producer first, okay? We had, and also don't do anything stupid or harass or harangue people as they're coming out. I'm going to tell one last quick story. But this goes all the way back to Fringe year 1 when I was at the complex at a show in the Ruby. It was a show about a school shooting. It ended with a very dramatic school shooting and the whole cast dying. And the whole audience walks out shell-shocked. You know, it was a very intense thing. And opening night, everybody leaves, and there's a guy in a security guard outfit in front of the exit to the complex saying, "I'm sorry, folks, we can't let you out right now. There's a situation outside. So how's about you walk into the dory and come see my show?"
It was no good, you guys.
It was no good.
Was so
people, because he had no idea when people were just leaving. He was just a dick. Don't be that guy, okay? So don't stunt on people's audiences. It is possible. Maybe you want to have somebody that can talk to people coming out saying, "Hey guys, next show." Do that out on the street. Don't ever obstruct people coming out. Don't forcibly flyer people if they don't want to. If you're going to flyer, check with the producer.
And that's why the Facebook group is going to be very helpful, because you'll be able to see who's before and after you. So you'll be able to ask someone, "Hey, is it cool if I tell your audience that my show's next and it's a game show and it's super fun and crazy?" And then, you know, we might be like, our audience is going to be crying when they leave. Yeah.
I mean, so maybe,
So, but that way you guys can talk and be honest about it.
And you know, yeah, this is a time to check on the Facebook group, see who's in before you. See, like, "Hey, can I flyer your audience as they come out?
Yeah.
Can I flyer your line before they go in?" You know, it's just an etiquette. Use common sense. Don't be a jerk. If it's a stunt that makes you a little uncomfortable, it probably makes you uncomfortable for a reason. Don't fucking do it. All right, I'm just saying.
And if someone appears from another venue and is doing that and they haven't asked you, come let us know.
Come let us know, because we're happy to group squad if we have to.
We'll take care of that.
Yeah.
We got your guys' backs. We're here for you. Okay.
Cool. All right. Questions? Yes.
The just remember that?
Yeah.
I just have one actor that may need to come in and get ready makeup wise. Is that okay that they do that while there's another show?
No, unfortunately.
It's
no.
gonna be
15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's gotta be 15 minutes. But what a lot of shows will do is that they'll come into the parking lot. We'll talk about how the parking and the load-in works, but what a lot of shows do is that they'll actually prep their load-in the parking lot, load their stuff onto the loading dock, and come in. Sometimes they come in, you know, a little beforehand. And as long as they're quiet and respectful, you can actually prep.
No, never before. 15 minutes.
We'll talk.
No, I'm saying they can.
Stand
we've had
outside.
people stand outside in the parking lot. That's what I'm
yes.
saying. Not in the inner loading dock. People will hang out in the parking lot before the show. And if they've got somebody, they can do their makeup in their car or something. You know.
The other thing is too is that if you do have something that's very elaborate in terms of costume, makeup, things like that, use it for marketing. Like we've had stuff before.
Go to the Fringe Fashion Show.
Yeah, we've had stuff before where like people have to, we had one show we did that was a member produced show where a guy had to be like, he had this crazy red hair he had dyed and all this crazy makeup he had to put on. It took him like an hour, but he would do it like 3 hours before and then go hang out at Fringe Central and get a whole ton of people to see his show. So that's a really great thing, actually. It's like, just use it and use it as marketing. People love it. So yeah. Okay, anyone else? And of course, you guys, I'm always available on email. Please email me if you have questions that do come up.
Or tweet us like the Flat Tire guys, because their Twitter game is strong.
What did you say?
No. They've said.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah, favorite phrase from the studio stage venue orientation. Don't be that guy. Hashtag HFF18. Yeah.
All right, so you guys online, what we're gonna do, we're gonna do a little field trip here, just around the.
I'll carry you with us.
One more question.
Yeah.
Oh, one more question.
Yeah.
Because you talked about where not to park, but you didn't talk about.
We're gonna talk about that as we go outside. We're gonna show you.
So really quick, just for these guys, you guys, after this, everyone's gonna have a little bit of what you guys can all talk with Erin. But if you're at the Hobgoblin, I will put you in touch with Beth Scrozato, who is most likely going to be your stage manager, and she'll probably schedule a Skype meeting with you so that you guys can talk one-on-one, okay? So Marcus, you're probably the only one that should stick around if you want to see what we're going to do here. Josh, you guys are probably good because it's not going to be studio stage stuff.
The other Josh, had to take off again.
And Josh Jericho, or Joe Jericho. We're going to, sorry, I think that Eric is going to be at the Hobgoblin tomorrow, so he's going to be at that meeting.
Okay, cool.
And so he'll get you covered there. We will have some more meetings one-on-one with you guys about tech with Greg about the Hobgoblin, okay?
Okay.
Yay!
Thank you guys.
Thank you
Awesome, thank you guys for joining in. And hey, Marcus, stick around because I'm going to carry my laptop on the tour.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I'm ready.
See you guys on the tour. She's going to let you know how to, don't move yet. Don't move yet. You can feed your meeting.
Yes.
You sit and get a ticket, sir.
So, okay. So before we move, we're going to go outside. But just a few things if you're new to Fringe, this 15 minutes can be panic-inducing. So as Jen said, people, you want your actors to come as ready as possible. So in costume, makeup, whatever they need, as much as possible, because that 15 minutes flies by. Remember, it's really sudden. We love the audience in. So have them come as close to ready as possible. We'll talk about the parking lot situation. There's plenty of room out there, though, for your actors, for their physical bodies and their stuff to be out there. Physical bodies, props, things like that. And it's pretty soundproof. Now, please don't be screaming in the back or playing loud music to warm up your choreography numbers or anything like that. But I've had shows out there who circle up, they run through their line, they do a speed pro, they run around, they jump up, whatever they need to do. So you can definitely use the parking lot as long as you're not just on the dock making noise. That is going to be fine. So there are lots of things. We have shows that need an hour and a half ahead of time. They're just hanging out there, just kind of out of the way. So you can definitely do that. But as much as possible, have them ready to go.
Almost every one of our shows that we've produced, they will do a full line through before every performance.
And I definitely recommend it because we're on such a weird schedule here. You know, you're going to have a preview, and then it might be 10 days till we see each other again. And then another 7 days, and then 4 days, and 2. So speed throughs really help because you guys have all been there. You know that we always call them Thursday night slump. We do shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday, then people are off for 4 days, and Thursday it's like we're back in dress rehearsal. Someone forgot their line or whatever. So it's a good idea. Highly recommend it. But that's obviously your call. When I'm calling actors for our shows, I always call them at least 30 minutes before our load-in time. So if our load-in time is 7 o'clock, I'm going to call them for 6:30 at the latest. And it depends on my ask. Sometimes I'll call them 6. I know it's going to be an issue.
Because they'll be there by 6:30.
Right. So your goal is have them here 30 minutes ahead of time. That's for a couple reasons. One, parking sucks. They have to find parking. No matter. They always think it's going to take me 5 minutes. It might take 25. Right? You don't want to be that director that's out on the sidewalk waiting for your actor to come bolting down the street.
We've been there.
Which has happened.
We've seen that a lot.
So call them early. The other thing is, every once in a while, one of you does the show after you a huge favor and has your loadout done in like 3 minutes. and I can sweep through and in another 2 minutes, I'm already out there going, come on in, guys. You have an extra 10 minutes thanks to the God tool. They were
That's the
out,
best
so
day
come
ever.
on in. Now, if you're still waiting for your actors because you called them to get there right at that 7 o'clock load-in, you just lost your extra gift of minutes.
Yeah.
So don't waste your gift.
And here's another thing. Only let your people in, and only come in when Erin or Beth or whoever your stage manager is.
Girl, we locked.
No, I know. But nobody comes in until the stage manager says so, because I was up on a ladder once putting gels back and I was the last one out on my show, but I still had 7 minutes left to finish our loadout. Somebody from the other cast saw our guys all come outside and said, all right, guys, we're good to go. And they came in and nearly knocked me off the ladder when they barreled through the doorway that the ladder was in front of with a giant ass couch. They nearly knocked me 20 feet onto the ground. So don't do that.
And only have actors coming back. Last year we had some issues where we had actors being like, oh, but I have a show. And they're like walking in the front and the show's still going on. Actors come in the back, for the love of God. The other thing that we found very helpful with our shows is if you do have a large cast, heck, if you have 2 people in your cast, we give people text buddies because the schedule for Fringe is erratic. It's not Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's all over. So there have been shows, and we've known them, that have had to cancel because their lead actor forgot they had a show that night, and they didn't show up. So we always assign text buddies where people go, there's a show tonight, and like, yes, there is, okay. And then everyone knows because it happens.
You lose the show, guys, no refunds, sorry.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's terrible.
That's, yeah,
and it's terrible for an audience, but it happens. I've known numerous shows that have had to cancel because their actors forget they have a show. So
yeah.
Don't do that.
We had somebody miss a 25 plays per hour, but we managed to recast it in 5 minutes. So, yeah.
Here's what I'm going to do. I have your stage manager contracts here, so I'm going to hand them out to you guys for the show. We'll take a field trip. We'll go out there, and then if you want to talk to me individually, you can. I'll reach out to all of you. So if you need to jet after this, that's totally cool. Jen can also give you my contact information. Full disclosure, I'm going to Hawaii on Tuesday. I'm going to be there for a week. You're not going to hear from me until I get back. So feel free to send me all the emails you want, and I will probably read them from the beach with my time, and I will respond next Wednesday. Don't call Jen and be like, oh, Erin's so irresponsible.
No, Erin's on a beach.
Drinking before Fringe.
I'm also going to Disney World on Saturday, so you won't hear from me. No, actually, you will, because I'm going to.
I'll be here.
I'll have my email.
Greg is going to really be Greg.
Yeah.
You know, so the contracts have either my name or my husband's name on them, but I'm going to be here for almost everything, so you'll see me around. So even if you're not with me, you just learn to see me. I promise.
Be friends with Erin, guys. Befriend her, because she is the seraphim of our choir of angels here. Okay?
Stouts, I'm looking at probably stout. Wine, whites are good. A good Chardonnay, a good Pinot Grigio, definitely.
So when you make
not really an IPA girl, no IPAs. Sours.
And her husband's big into whiskey.
All right. Okay, so but we don't need alcohol. We have a lot of them. So I'm going to hand out these. There is a spot for you to sign it at the bottom. Give it back to me. Once I have them back, then either here I will sign it depending on who you have, and then I will scan and email a copy to you. We'll do that before I leave for Hawaii, so you'll have a copy of that. So I feel like that's important for you guys to know what you're promising. It's our standard agreement. Jen went over all the fees. It's $25 an hour for us. That fee starts with the load-in, that 15-minute load-in, and stops at the end of your 15-minute load-in. So if you have an hour-long show.
I mean, your end of your loadout.
Loadout, yeah. Yes. So if you have an hour-long show, it's an hour and a half worth of stage management time. We'll invoice you for it, but that way you'll understand what you're doing.
And I think I've told everyone that for a 60-minute show, it's 13 hours of stage management time. For a 90-minute show, it's 17.5.
And that's before if we need to add anything. We do offer dry tech runs, which is where you and I sit down for coffee or something else, and we go through your script. And you can tell me where your cues go before we get into tech, so we can do that too. So we'll talk and hang out, or I'm gonna stay around here so you can talk to me then too. But we're happy to do whatever you guys need to do. So don't be afraid to ask. All right. All right, so I'm gonna hand these out. We'll go on a field trip. Then if you are comfortable and or authorized to sign, you can sign it, give it back to me, and then you can ask any questions you want of any of us. So.
And then after the tour, guys, we had this lovely idea last year that one of our fringers brought up for a really quick promo video. I'm gonna take each of you into the studio, and what we're gonna do is I'm gonna ask you to say your show's name and 4 words about it. Okay, and I'm gonna splice it together into a really, it could be 5 or 6, but really, the whole point is the name of the show and a really short description of it, and then we're gonna splice it in this video that'll probably go about a minute and a half, and that's gonna be the first piece of promotion that you guys can put out about your show, and it's gonna be celebrating everything at the Fringe of the Fringe. Okay, so we'll do one for the Hobgoblin, we'll do one for the Hobgoblin as well. And Marcus, if you're not here, what we'll ask you to do is to shoot a quick video of yourself against a neutral background. But you got reps here. Oh, you got reps here. You're all good.
Yeah, Virginia's out in the audience.
All right, well, we'll get Virginia to do it. So.
All right, here we go. Escalation D. Tamina Shane.
Oh, he's not here today.
Okay, Lucy Gurley. Survival check.
Whoop.
Marcus, do you want me to email it or do you want me to give it to these guys?
Both. Can you do both?
Yeah, I can do both.
Cool.
Marindal?
Oh, I think he left.
Okay.
Yeah.
With my eyes shut?
Oh, that was Tara.
All right, Yellow Wolf.
Hey.
Got you guys in the back. Whoop.
Love Box and Liberation. My mom died when I was 14. Got the apologies for traffic 2.0.
Not here.
They're not here today.
Who am I missing?
So hey, real quick, how's everybody feeling? You guys excited?
I know this is a ton of information.
Yeah. It's a ton of information, but don't worry. We've been doing this since year 1.
It's gonna be awesome.
We've done, you guys are with a venue that has been doing this shit for years, so we got you.
Yeah, you're gonna have a great time.
Please ask us. Between us, we've gone to all the Hollywood Fringes, New York Fringe, San Diego Fringe. So ask us if we know what's
So we also know what it's like to be doing a show from out of town.
Yeah.
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 We got you.
At some point, ask Greg and I how we committed a felony in New York.
The statute of limitations is up. We're fine. Yeah, Marcus, you laugh, but it's not. Yeah, it's legit. So.
No worries.
They have very strict laws about painting prop guns to look like real guns. So. Yeah.
I had a cast person talk to me about them, going like, yeah, they're kind of like, about guns, they kind of
around. Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. Awesome.
I think my tech is the first thing I did.
Awesome. Then you know what? We'll go on ahead and just put it in writing, just so I remember it. Just email me, and then I'll make sure it's on my calendar, and I will be there.
It's not going to be that many. So,
it's all good. No worries. I'll make it look good. Done. No worries. My pleasure. Yeah. Hey. It's just Marcus at this point. Everybody else is left. But yeah.
You can still say hi to me.
Yeah, I know. Oh, it's just Marcus. Sorry, I didn't mean to make it sound like that.
That's okay. Yeah. I'm just the out-of-towner.
Yeah.
It looks good. I like the lights. The new lights.
They're gonna be great. They're gonna get their work in. Oh, so here we go. We got Erin talking.
All
Okay.
right. Is that everybody?
Yep, I think so.
Perfect. Okay. So this is our parking lot. We have to come back here. Right, Dave. So the first important things, the 2 spaces that no one can ever park in, they're over here. They're on the other side of Greg's big car. But it is this first space here. And the next space over here. Yes. They're both labeled. Don't touch. come for tech rehearsal, we're a little more lenient with tech because we don't have all the chaos. So for tech, if you need to bring in a couple extra cars to load stuff in, we can work that out. Jenn and Greg usually have these two spots. These are Jenn and Greg's spots. The stage manager spots are down here. So from the stairs back, that's what we got set. Don't park there, because if I'm running late and that spot's taken, guess whose show is going to be late? Your show. She took the spot. I'll take the spot.
Yeah.
So our load-in spots for our cars, for our shows, are right here where my car is. And there's a spot here. There's one more here. Now, every show gets one car in the lot for the duration of their show. One car. So this is the show that's going on right now. They came in, they loaded out, they parked there. Now when it's time for, Eric, I'm picking on your show. When it's time for the God tour to come in, they're gonna park here. They're the next show in. So they're gonna park here. My show finishes. I load up all my stuff. I back out. It's empty now. Eric is loading his stuff in. And then I'm gonna pick on Lux, Love, and Liberation. She's gonna come in, she's gonna take this spot, right? So it's 1, 2, 1, 2.
Those rotating.
Yep. We have this extra spot here, right? This is for the quick drop off and pick up spot, right? So let's say that Eric decides that he needs 4,000 sentences. So we're gonna have to do another car. So we've got Eric up there. He is gonna come in. She's got her car here. It's here for 5 minutes while they unload things. Then at the end of the show, she's gonna run down the street. She's gonna go get her car from her magic parking spot. She's gonna come back. She's gonna pull in. They're gonna load up in 5 minutes, and she's back out. Right? So this spot is usually empty. It's our quick load. Right?
Loading
So every show gets one car.
Loading zone. Yeah.
One car. That's it. When you're loading and unloading your shows, this spot here, right here, that is for our load in. So when Erin and Mia come in and they're ready to load in their boxes are going to sit right there on the top. When you're loading your show out, they go here. Right? The reason we do that is because you only have 15 minutes. Why waste your 15 minutes going all the way down the stairs?
Losing sound.
Oh, we lost you?
I can't hear her.
But we'll get him to
We got you.
take it out, put it
Okay.
in, we have to take the masking off. Would it be easier for us to just take the entire table out along with everything so that they have the space to load in and just deal with taking the
That's
mask
what I
off
would
here?
say. Yeah, if you've got something that transports outside easily
what?
and then you want to repack it, you've got plenty of room here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you can do that. Because this spot is yours, and then this spot is the next show. And ideally, the show that's coming in after this show isn't going to be here for another 20, 30 minutes. So you've got a little bit of time now to load up your car, rearrange some things, get changed, whatever you need.
So loading is 15 minutes, but how early can we come and park in the empty spot?
It's a good question.
You don't want to waste the 15 minutes by getting here
Right.
after 15 minutes.
I would say, for the most part, you're pretty safe if you get here any place that's like 20 to 30 minutes before your time. Now you got to be flexible, because if you drive by and you realize, oh, that show is still packing up, maybe go around the block a couple times. You could even roll down your window and say, hey, I'm the next show. Are you guys almost done? Should I just sit here with blinkers? Do you need 10 minutes? What do you need, right? So just be mindful of that. But if it's empty and you know you're reasonably the next show, go ahead and park there. Now, if you drive by at 10 a.m. and you're not till 5 o'clock and you're like, oh, it's empty, don't park there. Right?
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that
The
guy.
other thing is too, you guys, once in a while, hopefully not, but once in a while, our upstairs neighbors will leave and they will close the gate. If you get here and the gate is closed, do not freak out. Just everyone should have my number. Either text me, or you will have Erin's number or Brett's number. Just text me or your stage manager. Hey, the gate is closed. We will open it. Don't freak out. Now, if you're texting your stage manager and they're in the middle of a show, they will probably not be able to open it that second, but it will be open for you by the end of the show. Yeah.
And then the other thing, if you are the last show of the night and your cast thinks it's a wonderful idea to keep your 2 cars parked here and go get a drink, don't do that, because I'm going home and your car's going to sit here until either me or Jenn or Greg feel like coming back to open up the gate.
And don't call us in the middle of the night saying, hey, our cars got locked in. I'm not looking at anybody here in particular that might have done that previously. So.
Sounds like a great idea. Tell them to park on the street and then take that 1 car and go drink and come back. But don't leave your cars parked in here because we're probably going home to sleep. We don't get much of that.
And we get really grumpy if we have to come back after we've left for the night.
Any questions? All that. So just really do stress with your cast 1 car. Because it looks like, oh, I can just park back here. There's a lot of spots. But there's really not.
Yeah.
Just please stress with that 1.
And no double parking. No parking in the center here, guys. That's another thing is, you know, you don't get 2 extra cars to come in, and don't double park because that's just going to screw everything up.
Here and here, your quick load.
And then for your cast, either have them lift from Fringe Central. People like to do that. Or in the neighborhood back there, it's pretty unrestricted. Meters and stuff are kind of a bummer during the day, but the neighborhood's pretty good. But again, leave yourself time for parking. And also know that in a lot of other venues, they're doing all their load in and load out double parked on Santa Monica as a bunch of cars are going by. So we actually have a luxury here, but not so much that 100 people can park it back here.
All right. So
is there quiet hours by chance, like for the neighborhood since we're right there?
Be respectful.
Okay.
That's the general rule.
Yeah.
Common sense.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
You know, if you've got a late night show and you want to do a quick read through back here, just tell everybody please don't do the death scream at the end of Act 1.
Yeah, we haven't had problems, but a mysterious security camera has appeared that faces our lot now on the back of that building that we have no idea why. Yeah, we always wave at it. You can flip it off or flash it if you want. That's totally fine too. But we don't know whose that is, but they do watch our gate, which is really weird.
It's kind of weird.
And it's
also, in terms of security cameras, we do have security cameras as well. We have one right here looking at our door. We've got one inside the loading dock. We have one in the
Two in the front.
Yeah, we have 2 in the front, one looking at the lobby, one looking at the studio. So, yeah. If your
those
cast
cameras
is like, I wasn't banging on the door. That wasn't me. Yeah, it was. I can see you. So, like,
yeah.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah,
don't be that guy.
We had somebody who left the back door open after their rental one time, and I came by 30 minutes later and found the back door wide open. And they're like, that wasn't us. And I'm like, I literally have video of you driving away with the door wide open.
One time we are in Hollywood, so please do encourage safety with your cast. So walking pairs, coming and going if possible. And as much as possible, tell them not to bring in their most valued treasures to the studio stage. We do keep the back door shut. We do everything we can. We've got the security cameras, but
Stuff still happens.
Yeah, things will happen. So please just tell them leave great grandmother's heirloom necklace at home if it's not required. Don't bring all of your tips from serving earlier today.
Someone last year they used it was like an heirloom necklace from their dead father as a prop. And then it got dropped somewhere. Luckily, we found it. But we got this panic call from the producer, and I was like, why is that a prop? Oh, my gosh. But I found it, so it's fine.
And secure your box offices, too. Don't just put a whole bunch of cash in an envelope.
Also happened last year.
Where somebody lost the envelope and then called us screaming and crying.
She found it.
Under the seat of her car.
It was in her car.
But just be aware.
Yeah.
Okay, so back in. I'll answer any questions you guys have for stage managers.
And we'll shoot the quick promo.
And Greg will shoot the promos in the lobby.
Awesome, guys.
Whole one first, Greg, the big one?
Yeah, let's do the big group one first.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome, Marcus. We're all good, man.
All right. Thanks a lot.
No worries, man. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Take care.